Hey folks, everything new under the sun. Well, here's some breaking news. jpost.com. I just spotted this article and thought I would get a quick video up about it as we look to the release of the peace plan, the deal of the century, Trump's peace plan in Israel and for the Middle East. That is coming up after the April elections in Israel. And we are continuing to hear information coming out about what is in there. And as the rumors are repeated day after day, I think you can start to get the idea that this is exactly what the peace plan is all about. So my CPU is going 100%. I'm going to see if I can get through this video anyways. So the U.S. peace plan will divide Jerusalem. Saudi reporter. So what does this say? Saudi Arabia has been in touch with the U.S. administration regarding the peace initiative, as it's rumored that the deal will include recognition of Israel by surrounding Arab countries. So that's the key. That's what everybody wants. That's what Israel wants. They want the Arab countries to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, and that's kind of one of the biggest things that they've wanted, so that there's no more fighting over it. Well, according to a senior reporter at Al Riyadh, one of Saudi Arabia's most prominent newspapers, they're claiming that the deal of the century will divide Jerusalem. And what do we see in Bible prophecy? We see a situation where an antichrist comes, confirms a peace covenant, peace agreement, and it divides Israel. And we think that the dividing of it, we think it's going to be divided because Israel will get an opportunity to create their third temple, because the Antichrist will cause the sacrifices to cease at that point in time. And so the temple, most believe, is going to really be the carrot on the end of the stick for Israel to accept a two-state solution, if you will, and a dividing of Israel so that the Palestinians get Jerusalem as a capital, at least part of it. It says a reporter, Hadil Awus, wrote on her Twitter account that the old city of Jerusalem will be divided in half. What does the Bible say about people who try to divide the land of Israel? They will be cut in pieces themselves. So when you look at it, the United States is effectively trying to divide Israel, and the United States itself will then be cut into pieces. And that's the big issue. That's the big worry prophetically. Remember, the United States doesn't show up in end-time Bible prophecy. They're not listed as a nation participating specifically in Ezekiel 38 and 39, or any of the prophetic events in the last days in Revelation and Daniel and the 7-year tribulation, etc., etc. The only minor mention maybe is related to, in Ezekiel 38, the young lions of Tarshish. Speaking of the Russian-led Gog-Magog invasion in Ezekiel 38 and 39, and all they're doing is saying, why are you invading Israel? But they're not coming to the aid of Israel. And of course, that invasion will lead to God actually saving Israel, which is a key thing that God will do to show that Israel that He is still in control. But they will rely on their IDF for a while there, and eventually they will return and recognize Jesus as Messiah. That part comes in basically after the abomination of desolation, when the Jews finally realize, Jesus was the original, was the Messiah. But it goes, so the whole splitting of Israel, splitting of Jerusalem, is going to cause the people, the leaders, and the countries that push forth this plan, it's going to cause them to be split in pieces. And I suspect that is really the cause, and what it ends up being is a financial collapse, an economic collapse worldwide, which takes out all Western nations, and that's why you don't see any Western nations in end-time Bible prophecy. The Twitter quote here says, Israeli foreign minister has heard that part of the new U.S.-sponsored peace initiative centers on the division of the old city of Jerusalem. The old city will be divided in half. Arab and Christian quarters will go to the Palestinian Authority, while Jewish and Armenian quarters will fall under Israeli control. It says Arab areas adjacent to the Palestinian area A and B will go to a future Palestinian capital in East Jerusalem. So stay tuned. Like, I think if this is true, I think, and if this is true and the peace plan comes out just after the elections, look for economic trouble coming very quickly after this, or some other major natural disaster or countrywide disaster. I would say look out for that. Be aware. This is kind of one of those high watch times after the elections. If this is revealed, look for a huge event which somehow ends up taking out all Western nations to the point where they have no voice in end-time related Bible prophecy. So Saudi Arabia has been in touch with the U.S. administration regarding the peace initiative, as it was rumored that the deal will include recognition of Israel by surrounding Arab countries. Jerusalem will always remain undivided, and it is not something to be bargained with, says Matan Peleg, CEO of the Zionist organization. With the upcoming elections in Israel, it is important that the public understand the repercussions of this deal and vote only for parties who vow not to give up even an inch of Jerusalem. So what is it going to take to convince a Zionist organization, Matan Peleg, to split Jerusalem rather? I believe that the one thing that would bring them all together and say, yeah, let's divide Jerusalem, is going to be that they get to rebuild the third temple and initiate their sacrifices again. I think that is the key thing that will convince the Jewish people, the majority of them, to vote along with this deal and push it forward. So while we are living in the last days, I think this is very interesting about the peace deal. We'll see how it goes. I will leave there for today, and we'll see you guys in the next video.